The White House just pushed a fresh executive order on artificial intelligence. It rewrites what the federal government expects from AI systems, who gets audited, what must be disclosed, and how agencies buy AI. If you are building with AI, selling AI, or simply using AI at work, the rules of the game just changed. Today, I'll break down the order, the related policy moves, and what they mean for startups, creators, and enterprises. We'll look at what was revoked, what replaced it, the new timelines, and a practical checklist so you can stay on the right side of the law. Why this executive order matters. Over the last 2 years, U.S. AI policy has moved fast. In late 2023, the Biden administration issued Executive Order 14110 on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI. In 2024, the Office of Management and Budget, or OMB, followed with binding guidance on how agencies govern and buy AI. In 2025, the new administration changed course. It revoked the 2023 order, replaced it with new directives, and released an America's AI Action Plan. If you sell to the government, operate in sensitive sectors, or run a platform with user-generated content, these shifts hit your contracts, compliance playbooks, and moderation duties. What the new executive orders actually do. January 23, 2025, revoking the 2023 order. On January 23, 2025, the White House issued Removing Barriers to Domestic Energy Production and Job Creation. Beyond energy policy, it explicitly revoked Executive Order 14110, which had driven a federal safety and risk framework for AI across agencies. This forced OMB to revisit and reissue parts of its AI guidance for agency governance and procurement. For businesses, that means prior compliance assumptions tied to EO 14110 needed a checkup. July 23, 2025, preventing woke AI in the federal government. On July 23, 2025, the White House issued a new order to reset how agencies define and manage AI in federal programs and contracts. The focus is on removing perceived ideological filters in government AI, while keeping attention on measurable security and national security risks. If you contract with federal agencies or hope to, your models, documentation, and evaluation methods may be tested under a different lens than in 2024. Expect less emphasis on abstract ethics frameworks and more on demonstrable performance, security, and mission alignment. July 2025, America's AI Action Plan. Alongside the order, the White House released America's AI Action Plan. It names the Department of Commerce through NIST's Center for AI Standards and Innovation, or CASI, as the engine for evaluations and standards work. The standards and testing landscape you will feel, from AI Safety Institute to CASI at NIST. In June 2025, the Department of Commerce rebranded the U.S. AI Safety Institute to the Center for AI Standards and Innovation, CASI. The practical takeaway is not that testing disappears, but that evaluations are framed as standards and security-relevant capability assessments. CASI continues to publish measurement methods and run evaluations with industry and researchers. If you are shipping models, expect calls to participate in evaluations that target concrete risks like cybersecurity, biosecurity, and misuse. International cooperation continues. Even with U.S. policy shifts, the federal R&D and evaluation community remains tied into an international network of AI safety institutes created in 2024. Expect cross-border test suites, red team protocols, and shared benchmarks to keep evolving. If your product performs poorly on these shared tests, procurement and platform policy decisions can be affected. Procurement and government-facing changes. OMB's 2024 memos still shape contracts, but watch for revisions. OMB's M24-10, Agency AI Governance, and M2418, AI Acquisition, established real deadlines and contract language for rights impacting and safety impacting AI. Agencies had to inventory AI use cases, apply minimum safeguards, and in some cases, stop using systems that did not meet requirements after December 1, 2024. The new administration has been revisiting these memos, and contracting guidance is being updated to align with the 2025 executive orders. If you sell to the government, expect solicitations to keep asking for risk controls and testing evidence, but with different emphasis and language. What vendors need to show in proposals. Be ready to provide model cards or equivalent system documentation with training data sources practices at a high level, known limitations and misuse risks, evaluation artifacts that demonstrate performance across intended tasks and edge cases, including failure modes relevant to safety or mission impact, security controls for model weights, APIs, and data pipelines, including insider threat and supply chain protections, content provenance or watermarking approaches when you generate media for or within agencies, if required by a solicitation. These items map to OMB and NIST-aligned practices that remain influential across agencies and integrators. New federal law you must not ignore. The Take It Down Act, May 19, 2025. Congress and the President enacted the Take It Down Act. It makes the non-consensual publication of intimate images, including AI-generated deepfakes, a federal crime. It also imposes prompt removal duties on platforms that receive valid notices. For creators and platforms, this changes your takedown playbook and raises penalties for ignoring abuse reports. For tool builders, promoting deepfake remover or face swap features without strong safeguards and reporting paths will create legal risk. What platforms must be prepared for: a notice and takedown workflow that can action qualifying reports within the legal timeline. Repeat infringer policies and evidence retention practices that can survive an FTC inquiry or civil discovery. Guardrails that reduce the easy creation or sharing of non-consensual intimate content. What this means for different players, startups, and indie builders. If you sell to the government, track updated solicitation clauses that replace older 2024 language. You will still need test results, model documentation, and security statements. The flavor has shifted from broad responsible AI language to measurable performance, security, and national security risk. Build a small evidence pack you can reuse in proposals. If you ship generative media, implement a robust takedown portal and auto triage for suspected non-consensual intimate imagery. Build moderation hooks into your product, not just your website. The Take It Down Act raises both expectations and consequences. If you rely on third-party models, keep a current inventory of models and versions. If a partner model changes behavior or license terms, your compliance claims change too. Expect due diligence questions from customers and agencies. Mid-market and enterprise adopters. Internal policy refresh. Update AI acceptable use and data handling policies to account for 2025 federal changes. Tie your policy to external standards that NIST and KC publish so your controls align with the direction of travel. Vendor risk reviews. Ask suppliers for evaluation summaries, security controls, and handling of user-generated content reports. Map claims to your own harms register. Record keeping. Keep logs of model versions, guardrails, and major prompt template changes for regulated workflows. Procurement teams are starting to request this history. Federal contractors and systems integrators. Rewrite your boilerplate. Reflect the July 2025 executive order and any OMB updates in your standard compliance sections. Avoid copy-pasting 2024 language that refers to revoked authorities. The headline is simple. The White House replaced the 2023 AI framework with a new approach that stresses standards, testing, and national security relevant risks. And Congress passed a deepfake law with real teeth. For builders and businesses, this is not a signal to slow down. It is a signal to document, measure, and prove. Keep an inventory of where AI lives in your products. Maintain a small but strong evidence pack, and tune your takedown and moderation flows. Do that, and you will be ready for the next RFP, the next audit, and the next round of rules. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe and comment with the sector you want me to cover next: healthcare, finance, or education. I'll bring you a sector-by-sector checklist tailored to your place.